Excuse me, your names?
My name is Clovis Baptista from the Inter-American Telecommunication Commission. So I have only one question now. In terms of regulation of retail pricing, I'm on the belief that the European Commission has imposed some regulatory benchmarks in terms of roaming tariffs due to abusive practice of operators in terms of prices to consumers. So I would like to hear from the distinguished Telecom Italia representative what is the perception of the company about that. Thank you.
You're talking about roaming?
Yeah. Well, I have to say, I mean, I don't follow the details of the roaming regulation and that practice, but I think we think if you compare the US and the Europe, I mean, there is a big asymmetry because, I mean, we have a extremely strong regulation for roaming. So it's, I don't know what kind of abuse you mentioned, but I think that we have a highly regulated framework. This is not creating the right incentive, you know, to invest and to promote the market. Yeah.
Can I a follow-up question, Len Waverman? Eve, when you showed the flattening of revenues in wireless in Europe, how much of that is due to regulation, the roaming and termination fees? If there wasn't that kind of regulation, what would the revenues have been?
Yeah, the question is, what is the impact of the roaming regulation on the revenue decrease in mobile? It was really important, and it's a good remark. But if you are looking at the margin, there is no consequence in terms of margin, except if you have an asymmetry of size between the telcos. So it's true that one of the reason of the decrease of mobile revenues is based on the termination rate regulation and roaming regulation. But nevertheless, it's not the only factor, because when we are looking at the margin trends, you cannot explain this trend by the roaming decision. No, there is a very intensive competition in each national market. You know that with the 3G auction, were added more than 50 new operators in Europe, in addition of the operators that we had before the 3G. So at each auction, you have new players till now.
It's not precisely to answer the question, but I think kind of one has to think of this in a broader context. There was a time when Europeans, when they came here or international events, were essentially saying, look, we got GSM and what have you got? Look, we got all this kind of penetration and digital and this and that, and what have you got? Now in the next generation, Europeans have fallen behind. I think that's probably general recognized. Now, so in handsets too, there was Ericsson, and where they're now, there was Nokia, and where they're now, and Siemens and others. So I think kind of to look for the solutions through, hey, we need to get bigger phone companies, providers, is maybe in certain situations that will help. But I think the problem is more fundamental than that. And so just kind of by letting consolidation and letting the Spanish, I mean, let's say the footprint, you know, Telecom Italia was there kind of in that shotgun marriage situation with Telefonica. That didn't work too well, did it? So it's not just kind of letting people increase their footprint. In fact, I don't know what the constraint, I mean, the legal constraint, what the regulatory constraints are on a Swedish company owning a Spanish company. I don't think they really exist. I mean, there might be some, you know, a little bit more hoops to jump through. I think the problem is partly is the national sovereignties. And think of it, just think of it. I mean, the United States has 2 foreign-owned companies in the mobile field. That is fine. Would France be very happy if Orange were to be taken over by Deutsche Telekom or by Wimpelcom? I just don't think so.
We are lucky. We have a representative of Telefonica.
I'm Alfredo Timmermans from Telefonica, and I would like to follow up on that, because sometimes in Europe we pretend to have the advantages of having a big market, but we don't have a single market in this telecom space as in other spaces, right? So the problem with roaming is not about price intervention. That's very popular, like it is always, but it is not efficient. The thing is, do we have one telecom market with European size space, licenses or not? And we do not have it. So it is absurd to speak about Europe as if it was one reality that you can compare to the US. It is not.
Is there still one question, but we are late, so it's time to leave the floor and to give the place to the next panel.
Well,
Thank you very much.
Yves, we actually have a real quick coffee break, so if you guys would like to take like 7 minutes, there's coffee in the back. Grab some coffee, you know, get a little energy for the last 2 panels for the afternoon. Thank you so much.
So they did, I mean, they are not anymore.